Hi, welcome to another video. So in the last video, I showed you how Kimi K3 performs on my benchmark. It landed in third place overall, just behind Fable 5 and Opus 4.8, and I told you that in real agentic work, it actually feels even better than the benchmark suggests. After that video, a lot of you asked me the same thing. How do you actually get the most out of it? Because having access to a really good model is one thing, but using it to its limits is a completely different thing. So in this video, that's exactly what we're going to do. First, we'll talk about how to use the coding plan to its limit, because most people think the plan is just the CLI and the web app, but it actually includes a lot more than that, like Kimi Claw and Kimi Work. Then we'll talk about how to steer Kimi properly, because K3 behaves quite differently from other models. And if you prompt it like a normal model, you're leaving a lot of performance on the table. And finally, I'll show you the goals system in Kimi CLI, which is easily one of the most underrated features in any coding agent right now. So let's get right into it. First, let's talk about the coding plan, because this is the base of everything. The plans start at $19 a month for the Moderato tier, then 39 VARs for Allegretto, 99 VARs for Allegro, and 199 VARs for Vivace. If you go annual, the effective prices drop to $15, 31 VARs $79, and $159 a month. The quota refreshes weekly, and there's a rolling 5-hour frequency limit on top of that, which supports somewhere around 300 to 1,200 requests per window depending on your tier. Now, the weekly refresh is actually the underrated part here. Most other plans give you a daily limit, so if you have one heavy day, you're stuck. With Kimi, the quota is weekly, so if you need to burn through a huge chunk of it in a single day for some big task, you can do that and just go lighter on the other days. You can manage it however you want, which is really nice for how agentic work actually happens in real life. Some days you're just reading code, and some days you're running agents all day long. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. The plan is not just the CLI. Obviously, you get Kimi CLI, which is the main way to use K3, and like I said in the benchmark video, the model is very much optimized for it. You also get the web app with the chat interface, deep research, agent mode, and all the OK Computer style stuff. Then there's the VS Code extension, and the CLI also supports the ACP protocol, so you can plug it into Z8 and JetBrains as well. On top of that, the API key from your plan also works in other coding agents. So, if you want to use your quota inside Claude Code, Code, OpenCode, Kilo, or Klein, you can just do that. You're not locked into their tools at all. And since Claude Code is what most of you are using, let me quickly show you the best way to hook your Kimi plan into it. There's a small catch here. The coding plan endpoint checks what's calling it, and it only wants to talk to coding agents. So if you just point Claude Code at it directly, you can get an error saying Kimi for coding is only available for coding agents. The clean way around this is a tool called CLI Proxy API. I've talked about it before on the channel. It's an open source proxy that wraps a bunch of providers behind local OpenAI, Gemini, and Claude compatible endpoints. And it lets you set custom headers, which is exactly what we need here. To set it up, you just grab it from the GitHub repo, which will be linked below. You can run it as a simple binary or through Docker, whichever you prefer. Then, you need your coding plan API key. For that, go to your Kimi account settings, head over to subscription, click the Kimi for coding option, and copy the key that starts with sk-kimi. Now, open the proxies config.yaml file and add a Claude API key entry. In it, you set the API key to your sk-kimi key, set the base URL to api.kimi.com/coding. And here's the important part. Add a user agent header that identifies it as Kimi CLI. That one header is what makes the coding plan endpoint accept the requests. You can also add the model name as Kimi-for-coding in the same block. Once that's done, just start the proxy, and it runs on localhost at port 8317. Then, in Claude Code, you set the Anthropic base URL environment variable to localhost port 8317, along with the proxy's own auth key, and that's it. Claude Code now runs on your Kimi coding plan quota, with K3 doing all the work underneath. And the nice bonus with this setup is that CLI Proxy API supports multiple accounts with load balancing, and it can wrap your other subscriptions too, so you can have Kimi, Codex, and other providers all sitting behind one local endpoint and just switch models inside Claude Code. This is a really good option for sure, but then there are the two big ones that most people don't even know are included. The first one is Kimi Claw. This is basically a one-click OpenClaw deployment in the cloud. If you've watched my OpenClaw videos, you know that setting it up normally means getting a VPS, installing dependencies, configuring API keys, and keeping the whole thing running 24/7. Kimi Claw just does all of that for you. You click one button, and in about a minute, you have your own always-on AI assistant running in the cloud with 40 gigs of storage, persistent memory, a custom personality, scheduled tasks, and access to over 5,000 community skills from Claw Hub. There's even a web-based SSH terminal if you want to poke around inside it. You need the Allegretto plan or above for the cloud deployment. But if you already run OpenClaw locally, you can link it to Kimi for free with a plugin. So if you were paying for a separate VPS just to run your OpenClaw bot, you can basically cancel that. This alone covers a good chunk of the plan's cost, if you ask me. The second one is Kimi Work, and this one deserves its own section, so let's talk about it a bit. Kimi Work is their local desktop agent for Mac and Windows, and the key word here is local. Unlike Claw, which runs in the cloud, this thing runs on your own machine. It can read your mounted folders, execute Python scripts locally, and work with your actual files. The original files stay in place unless you approve a change, which is good. The headline feature is the agent swarm. It can coordinate up to 300 subagents working in parallel, and the underlying model supports up to 4,000 coordinated steps. So, instead of one agent grinding through a big task sequentially, it decomposes the task, fans it out to a bunch of subagents, and stitches the results back together. A task that would take an hour sequentially can finish in the time of the longest subtask. Then there's WebBridge, which is a browser extension that lets the agent drive your browser like a human. It searches, scrolls, extracts data, and fills forms. And the important part is that it uses your real browser session. So all your existing logins and cookies just work. It doesn't need to log into anything from scratch, which is where most browser agents fall apart. It also has a built-in scheduler that takes standard cron syntax, so you can set up daily briefings, hourly checks, and recurring reports. There's even a keep computer awake toggle, so your overnight jobs don't die when your laptop goes to sleep. And it has a goal mode of its own, where you give it an objective and it can run for up to 24 hours without you touching it, with plugin connections to things like Notion and WPS staying live for the whole run. So, think about what you're actually getting in one subscription here. A frontier-level coding model, a really good CLI, a cloud-hosted OpenClaw instance, and a local desktop agent with a 300-agent swarm. If you subscribed to all of this separately, you'd easily be paying $60 to $100 a month, plus a VPS. Here, it's one plan with one quota. This is a really good deal for sure. Anyway, now let's come to the steering part, because this is where most people go wrong with K3. Like I said in the benchmark video, K3 has 3 defining traits. It doesn't give up, it doesn't overthink, and it's really good at using whatever tools it finds available. On my Gemma finituning task, it hit multiple errors and just worked through all of them without asking me anything. It even used Chrome CLI on its own to check its results in the browser and fix things without me setting anything up. And this changes how you should prompt it. With most models, we've all learned to babysit. You break the task into small steps, you feed them one by one, you check each result. That's how you had to work, because models would drift or stall on long tasks. With K3, that style actively hurts you. Every time you stop it to give the next step, you're interrupting a model that would have just kept going on its own. So, the rule with K3 is simple. Prompt it to the final goal, not the next step. So instead of saying add a login form, then later saying now add validation, then now write tests, you say something like this. The app should have working authentication with login, sign up, and password reset, all forms validated, test passing, and the whole flow verified in the browser. Then you let it run. Describe the finish line and how to verify it, and K3 will find its own way there. It genuinely performs better this way because the long horizon capability is the whole point of this model. And this brings us to the best part of the video, because Kimi CLI has an entire feature built exactly around this idea. It's called goals. So here's how they explain it. And I think this framing is really good. A normal prompt tells the agent what to do next. A goal says what must become true. That's the whole difference. You're not giving instructions anymore. You're declaring an end state, and the agent keeps working across multiple turns until that end state is actually true. You start one with the /goal command. So you'd type /goal and then something like fix every bug labeled checkout regression, add or update tests for each fix, and run the checkout test suite. And then Kimi enters goal mode. After every single turn, it checks itself. Is the goal complete? Is it blocked? Is it still active? And if it's not done, it just keeps going. No stopping halfway to ask what to do next. Now, the docs give a really good recipe for what makes a strong goal, and it matches exactly what I said about steering. A good goal has 3 things: a clear finish line, verifiable evidence, and what to inspect. So all tests pass is a good goal because it's checkable. Find all bugs in this codebase is a bad goal because there's no stopping point and the agent either quits early or runs forever. The goal system also has full life cycle management. /goal status shows the current objective and progress. You can pause a goal, resume it, cancel it, or replace it with a new one. And my favorite part is the queue. You can type /goal next with another objective, and it lines up behind the current one. When the current goal completes, Kimi automatically picks up the next one. There's even a /goal next manage screen where you can reorder and edit the queue, so you can literally stack up a night's worth of work. Implement the feature, then update the docs, then update the release notes, queue them up, and go to sleep. There are also budgets on goals. So a goal gets a turn budget and a wall clock budget, and it will use every configured turn before it stops. So it won't just run away forever, but it also won't quit early. But it goes even further because goals work in headless mode too. You can run Kimi-P with a goal, and the exit code tells you what happened. 0 means the goal completed, 3 means it got blocked, and 6 means it was paused. Which means you can put goals inside scripts and CI pipelines and branch on whether the agent actually finished. That is a genuinely scriptable autonomous agent, and I haven't seen other CLIs do it this cleanly. Now, on top of the regular goal command, there's also the write goal feature, and this one is great for lazy people like me. Instead of you carefully crafting the perfect objective with a finish line and evidence and all that, you just give it a simple, plain prompt, something like, make dark mode work properly. And Kimi takes that and writes the actual goal for you. It expands your lazy one-liner into a proper objective with a defined finish line and verification criteria, and then drives it all the way there. So you get the full autonomous goal treatment from a prompt that took you 5 seconds to type. Basically, the model does the prompt engineering for you and then holds itself accountable to it. This is kind of awesome. One tip here though, goals work best when tool approvals don't get in the way. If you're in manual permission mode, the goal will keep pausing every time it needs to run a command. So for goal runs on repos you trust, switch to auto approvals so the agent can actually run uninterrupted. Kimi is sensible about this too. If you're in YOLO mode, it even asks you before starting a goal, so you know what you're getting into. And while we're here, let me quickly show you a few more steering features in the CLI that fit this same philosophy, because there are quite a few of them. First, there's mid-turn steering. If the agent is running and you see it going slightly off track, you don't have to hit escape and kill the whole turn. You can just type your correction and press Ctrl+S, and it injects your input into the running turn. The agent adjusts course without losing any of its progress. This is such a simple thing, but it's exactly what you want with a model that runs long tasks. Then there's the /BTW command. Say the agent is deep into a task, and you suddenly have a side question like, what does this config file actually do? If you ask it in the main conversation, you pollute the context. Instead, you type /BTW with your question, and it opens a side conversation in a forked sub-agent. You get your answer, and the main task's context stays completely clean. There's also plan mode, which you toggle with Shift+Tab, where the agent can only use read-only tools, explores the codebase, writes an implementation plan to a file, and submits it for your approval before touching anything. For big, risky refactors, the combo I'd recommend is plan mode first, then turn the approved plan into a goal and let it run. Then there's the swarm, yes. The same agent swarm concept from Kimi Work exists in the CLI too. You can type /swarm with a task, and it spins up parallel subagents to attack it with a live progress card showing what each subagent is doing for tasks that decompose well, like fixing many independent bugs or migrating many files. This is a massive speedup. And finally, the CLI has scheduled tasks built in. You can tell it things like check the deploy every 5 minutes, or run a daily report every weekday at 9 a.m. with full cron syntax support, and sessions stay alive while goals are active or cron tasks are pending. So you can combine all of this. A cron schedule that kicks off a goal, which spins up a swarm, which runs until the finish line is met and reports back with an exit code. That's a fully autonomous coding setup running on a $19 plan. So that's how you use Kimi K3 to its limits. Use the whole plan, not just the CLI, because Claw and Work are legitimately half the value. Prompt to the final goal instead of micromanaging steps, because this model just doesn't give up. And learn the goals system, because it turns K3 from a chatbot that codes into an agent that finishes things. Overall, it's pretty cool. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked this video, consider donating through the Super Thanks option or becoming a member by clicking the Join button. Also, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye.